Welcome to Golf Industry Guru and the Gig Podcast, where we interview the best and brightest golf and hospitality leaders on the planet. On today's episode, you will learn some proven real-world solutions that'll help you and your team solve some of your biggest golf business challenges. So stick around for some tips, tools, and training to get you, your people, and your business powered on. Here's your host, James Cronk.
Well, hello, ladies and gentlemen. It is James Cronk from Golf Industry Guru, and I am back with another gig podcast. And I tell you, I have wanted to have this guest on the gig podcast for quite some time now because I have been an admirer of hers for years, ladies and gentlemen, for years. I am a 26-year PGA of Canada member. And as such, came across this individual many, many years ago. And when I've watched what she has done in her variety of roles, contributions, growing the game, being a leader in the industry, it's just an unbelievable journey that I'm looking forward to hearing a bit more about. So please welcome to the Golf Industry Guru podcast, Ms. Tiffany Gordon, Vice President of the PGA of Canada. Tiffany, it is wonderful to have you. I can't wait for this conversation.
Well, thank you, James. And I really, really appreciate this opportunity. You and I go back a long ways. And I think the first introduction that you and I had was back in 2005, I think, something like that, where you presented at our PGA of Alberta seminar. And that was a big year for me. So I'm so excited to do this today. And I can't tell you how excited I am to have this conversation.
Well, you know, what we're going to talk about today, which is really, I think, something that is so important in today's golf industry, Tiffany. It's unbelievable that we're still talking about getting females into the industry and getting females into the sport. I feel like I've been hearing that for, my entire life in the golf business. I'm actually doing a presentation in a week in Ireland, Tiffany, and I was just I'm working on it this morning, and I was doing some slides about how slow the golf industry is to embrace new things, new ideas, new strategies, and how diverse the game of golf is. And the fact that really when I look out into rooms when I'm giving presentations, unfortunately, I see normally a bunch of 6-year-old white guys. And that is not indicative of the people that love this game. And I know you and I certainly love the game and also have great support of the PGA of Canada. And so before we go any further, Tiffany, tell our listeners, if you don't mind, just about your journey, about the things that you like to talk about when you talk about your journey in the game of golf.
Well, thank you very much. And I think that it's, I've been very lucky. I got into the industry kind of on fluke, to be honest. My dad was a club manager when I was growing up at Highwood Golf Club, just south of Calgary here. And, for me, the best time that I could ever spend with my dad, which I loved to do, was to be around the golf course. So, I mean, I took the game up, mid-teens, and to be quite frank, I kind of liked it, didn't like it. I wasn't that great at it. I was between playing hockey and doing all those other things. But for me, it was an opportunity I just love people, right? So, I started playing the game, and I was very blessed. I mean, I was just, all of a sudden I was good at it, and it was okay. And it was fun. I got to meet a lot of people. I got involved with Alberta Golf. I got involved with Golf Canada at an early age. And, after college, I just, I realized that this is what, I loved the industry. I just loved the people. And, so right away, I just decided to become a golf pro. And, I love teaching. I love helping people. I love supporting the game. And quite frankly, there were not many females even involved at that time. So it was kind of a bit of an adventure. And, I went and I joined the team at Cottonwood in 1990 as an assistant golf pro. And by 97, I was a head pro. And by 2001, I was a director of golf. And just my career just kind of took off from there. But it wasn't for anything other than, people ask me, James, and I get asked this a lot is, what are your challenges? What were the things that, and there just really wasn't, because it's just about being a good person and just loving the game. So, I never really had, a real challenge as such, but for me, what I enjoyed so much is just the ability to work with others. And I got, I was really driven to get involved with our association. I did that mid-90s, and I've been involved with the PGA of Alberta, past president of the PGA Alberta, and proud to be a member of the PGA, and now even more so with the PGA of Canada. This is something that is, quite honestly, has been a lifelong dream for me. And to be in this position and to mentor and to try to help others through it. It just excites me. So, it's been an amazing journey from playing to execution to management to just learning on the fly. And just my relationship with so many people. Partnerships and relationships are so important. I think we tend to lose sight of how important that is. So for me, the industry itself, James, allows me to just to be involved, to grow the game, to encourage others to play. And the whole female sector of it now is changing, but we got to keep the foot on the gas, because it's intimidating, right? And women tend to get, I don't know if I can do this. Well, you can, because this is a perfect place for you. Women need a place to go, and golf offers them that. And I love watching. The best part about watching this game and being involved in this game is watching the relationships that are built through the game of golf.
Yeah.
We're so lucky for that. My journey's been fantastic. I'm in my next chapter right now, which is overwhelming, and I'm learning so much. But you know what? The game it's powerful. It just builds such great relationships, that I would never, ever, ever, think anything other than that.
We'll get back to our conversation in a moment. But first, are you ready to learn from the world's greatest golf and hospitality industry leaders? Train your team and grow your business with a membership to Golf Industry Guru. Join for about $3 per day and give your team access to over 250 hours of courses, podcasts, webinars, templates, articles, live Q&A calls, and more. Free content samples and registration details at golfindustryguru.com.
Love it. Yeah, it's so true. When we talk about it's what the game has brought to us, it's what the people that's brought to us and the connections that we make, and they're lifelong. I think I saw you in the Orlando show briefly for 5 minutes. I think I saw you a year ago somewhere for 5 minutes, and PGA Canada night for 3 minutes. I mean, these things are brief and fleeting, but I think in the industry we still have this connection that brings people in the golf industry together. Now, Tiffany, I know we're not supposed to talk about male, females, and other qualifications. So, and I'm an old white guy, so there is no chance in the next 35 minutes I'm not going to say something wrong. I can assure you, I'm going to say something wrong. But what I want to try to get from you, and one of the things that we're trying, Golf Industry Guru is about providing resources to people that work in the golf industry, the hospitality industry, to help them improve themselves, or to help them achieve whatever goals they're seeking, to learn new things, to train better, to get a raise, to get a new job, to move up the chain, whatever it is, right? We believe we're in the providing resources training business. And so one of the things that I'm hoping to get from you today, and once again, is really talking about the female, there's one wrong thing. Your experiences in what are some of the opportunities, or did you see some of the challenges? Do you ever feel like, oh, I got passed over for that, or even the opposite? Oh, they want me to be on a panel because I'm the token female that's on the panel. The reality is that we can pretend all we want that these are not real things, but they are real things in society. We're foolish to think that they're not. And they're also relevant in the golf industry. And once again, as I said, when I look at boards of directors, when I look at people that are leading associations, when I look at a variety of things, it is normally a male-dominated leadership industry. And that obviously has some cons to it, because it's not reflective of the consumer and the industry as a whole. So when you get, and I know you've been asked this question before, I've seen you on panels that talk about, women in leadership and women in the game of golf. Well, what can you share with our listeners about your experiences when it comes to, like, do you feel that way? Do you think that's true? Do you think that's just an assumption that I make that's incorrect?
And fantastic question, James. And I think you and I've kind of like chit-chatted at times, sidebar and stuff, whatnot on all of this. I think that the way I look at it is, you make it what you want to make it. Okay. So when I got involved with the PGA, you know what, even right now, to be honest with you, we're female membership. We're 8%, we're just over 4,100 members. 8% are female. Opportunities are there. Opportunities are earned, not given. And it doesn't matter whether you're male or female. That's just life. Okay. I was brought up that way and I will never change my tune. When I came into the PGA of Canada, when I ran for secretary and now as vice president, and very proud to be our first female president in another 13 months from now. I didn't do it because, it's interesting because I work with a board of directors that's very passionate. There's another, Robin is our other female on the board. And, but we've always been a group of males. Okay. There's no question. I don't look at myself any different. I figure that if I work hard and do my job, it doesn't really matter. But at the end of the day, there's always perceptions to what you were talking about. Right. I think that, as we move through this industry, I feel like I have the opportunity to be a bit of a trailblazer and saying, you know what, there's opportunities for you. There's opportunities in this industry. It's not about male or female. It's about doing your job, right? We use the lines, Phil Berube and I always use the lines of lead or leave, or you're either in or in the way. We use those at board tables for years. And I mean, I've been privy and honestly very lucky to sit at a lot of board tables where we've made a lot of great decisions. We've made a lot of really good decisions for the game, for our golf professionals, and for women in this profession. I think that there was always a misguiding that, and I remember when I first got into the industry, and it didn't really pertain to me, but it was always like, you know what, you can't be a golf pro and have a family. You're like, what? What do you mean you can't be a golf pro and have a family? What? I mean, I could go run XYZ company and have a family. So I should be able to be a golf pro and have a family. So, it was always that we were groomed in the early years to be you worked all day, every day, and that's what you did. And that's how you got ahead. And women, we were always taught you have to work twice as hard to prove yourself. Okay. And I'm not saying that that's wrong, right? Indifferent. I think that in life, if you work hard, you will be successful. If you don't work hard, well, then it doesn't matter, male or female, in my opinion. But at the end of the day, we were always perceived to have to work harder than the next guy. And I don't believe it's that way anymore. I think we're respected in this industry, female, male, for your value and your worth. It's an amazing industry. Like, we're so lucky to work. I always say this. I don't feel like I go to work every day. I don't. And I think James and you and I've had this conversation before. I don't. I go to work every day because I just love to go to work. It doesn't feel like a job. You're always pushed to be better. You're always set up to succeed, and you're in charge of your own destiny a little bit, right? So what an amazing industry and business where you can meet people, create partnerships, be proactive, do what you love to do every day, because there's a lot of people that go to work every day and hate their jobs. There are. Like, if you took a percentage in this country right now, I bet you 50% of the people who go to work every day just go, really? Like, I just don't want to even be here. And as a golf professional, and I can talk to any one of the 4,100 members across this country, we go to work every day because we love what we do. And I mean, how do you not just embrace that? And male, female, whatever. I mean, sure, do we have challenges? 100%. Are we breaking barriers? We sure are. We've got some of the greatest. And look at the LPGA, like the LPGA, the PGA of Canada teaching professionals, the females that are on the leading edge. You know what? We're out front and center now, and people are starting to recognize. So, I think we're in really good space. I'm really excited about where we're going with the PGA right now. Are there going to be challenges? Everyone's got challenges. That's called life, right? So
I think what's also cool when you talk about loving your job, Tiff, is that it's often the case that every, many PGA members have a different job than the other PGA member. Like, we all have, there's such a variety of jobs in our, some people teach 40 hours a week. Some people teach 10 hours a week and work in the shop for 30 or 40 hours a week, whatever it might be. I mean, generalization, but some people sell golf equipment. I mean, you can be a PGA member and have a variety. Some PGA members host podcasts and, try to do other things. So it's one of the cool things about our business is that the job is so diverse. I want to go back to, before I've got some other things here, but I want to go back to the 8%. So I didn't know that number. Mm-hmm. And is that number growing? Number one, I guess. And number two is that, like, what do you think are some reasons? You mentioned a couple, but are there some reasons why females might be hesitant to try to get their card or to get the certification or to join the association or to stay? I know that, the PGA of Canada, like other organizations around the world, PGAs around the world, have their strengths and also have their challenges, have their growth and have their setbacks when it comes to numbers and things like that. But it's healthy. It's an incredibly healthy time. So what would you say are some of the reasons why either that number is 8% or it's not 18%?
Yeah, and that's a great point. Is it growing? It sure is. I mean, when I got into the industry, there was two of us, right? Now that I'm 35 years plus, so and I say 35 plus because I don't like to say 40. But anyway,
you were 10 when you started, Tiffany.
Yeah, thank you very much, and I really appreciate that. We'll continue to be best friends because of that comment.
We all had child labor back then. We all worked 80 hours a week when we were 12 years old back then in the golf business.
Yeah, well, and that's what we were taught, right? And I think that was part of it. What I love now is the access to females becoming teaching professionals. I really appreciate what the PGA has done, and what we're doing now is in specializations, right? Yes. So you can be a teaching pro, you can be a director of golf, you can be a manager, you can be retail. You find there's pathways now. And I think we struggled in the early years of not really having that developed. And I think that, and I know, females in this industry are very structured, organized, very, specialized. And now we have that. So those pathways are there. Some of our best coaches and teachers, female coaches and teachers, are leading edge of our industry and our technology and what we're doing. And great players. I think that, for years we were, the whole PAT and all of that were just kind of barriers to getting into the industry because, I'll never forget, and I'm not name dropping here, but I will, is the best. David Ledbetter told me this once. This is like 20 years ago. He said, Tiff, some of the best coaches and teachers can't break 80.
Right.
And I was like, yeah. I'll play at Carmody and I'll play with our members. Honestly, Jane, I'm not the best player anymore because I don't work at it, but I sure enjoy it and I sure promote it and I sure make sure other people enjoy it. And I think that that's where our role as a golf professional is. There's golf professionals and professional golfers, and there's a role and there's a place for everyone. We have some amazing female golf professionals in this country that are the greatest players. I mean, I was at Women's Cup last year in Oregon and I watched the team and supported them. And oh my God, like I tell you what, like I wish I could play like that. And I don't anymore. I'm kind of the fun factor. I go out and I'm like I always tell everyone, I'm kind of a mascot, but at the end of the day, it doesn't matter if you bring people in, however they go. If you're a 36 handicapper or a 6 handicapper, there's a place for you.
Managing safety and compliance at your golf facility doesn't have to be overwhelming. Introducing the Toolbox, an all-in-one health and safety solution built specifically for the golf industry. Streamline your safety processes, manage staff training, equipment safety, chemical usage, hazard identification, and incident reporting, all from one easy-to-use platform. Save time, ensure compliance, and empower your team to proactively create a safer workplace. Learn how the Toolbox can help your golf facility thrive at thetoolbox.tech.
You mentioned some advice from David Ledbetter, and I'm sure you've had lots of mentors over the years that have given you advice. What advice would you give a young female wanting to become a professional, or go from being a professional to being a director of golf, or et cetera, et cetera, et cetera? What are some of the kind of, someone asks you for a coffee? I love it when it doesn't happen enough, by the way. Like, I love it when a young person that wants to get in the business asks me for a coffee or a phone call and has 10 questions prepared. I think it's fantastic. And I can't believe it doesn't happen more often. But, and by the way, yeah, that's probably says something right there. Although they don't want my opinion. But when people come to you, because I'm sure they do, when females come to you, what are some of the advice that you give them that you think is going to help them?
Yeah, I mean, mentorship is such a big part of our industry, right? I mean, I've had some amazing mentors in my life that I continue to reach out to all the time. And I'm very lucky because through our mentorship program with the PGA of Canada and the PGA of Alberta, which are both very strong, I have an ability to have a mentee every year. And so I work with them. But I get a lot of reach outs. And that kind of sums up your career a little bit when you get those, because it shows that at least, you're still in the mix, right? When I get a call or anything, it's usually about, how do I handle myself in this situation? And we work in a male dominant world. Okay. And you said it. I mean, if I was to we had our AGM this week. If I was to take a snapshot of the PGA of Canada and every member that we have, it's 90% white male, right? Like it just is. And is it changing? Yes. Are we encouraging diversity? 100%. But it's going to take some time. I think that the questions that I would get, James, is more about How do I get involved? How do I fit in? How do I make myself known? And what do I do to promote myself?
What are your answers to those questions when they ask you?
So my answers to them are be true to yourself, walk with a presence. I think that some of the best instructors we have in the PGA right now are female, because there's a level, and I'm not disregarding anything, but it's growing, and I think they're working very hard at it because there's a level. I mean, in Calgary alone right now, I work with a women's group here in Calgary. They have like 250 women on a wait list that can't get into leagues and programs because there's no inventory. There's no access to golf courses. You know, being a private club is great. You know, there's just not enough room, and it's growing, and we want to grow, and we're pushing the envelope, but we got no place to put them. So my advice to a lot of these females that come to me and ask me about the industry is, I said, you know what, find a home. Find a place for these ladies, you know, teach them how to be not intimidated, because that's really what it is. You know what? They want to play golf. They'll go play golf. They'll be good at it, or they won't be good at it, or they just want to play, but they need to feel like they're welcome. And I think there's a lot, as much as we think there's not barriers to that, there still is. You know, it's that intimidation of showing up to the golf course. It's that intimidation of how you walk in. It's what you wear, how you show up, what you do, how you go through it. And the more, and I tell all, and it's not just females that I talk to and mentor, there's males too, but it's like, make them feel welcome, because they will be your biggest cheerleaders, because they just want to be there. And it's one of those things, like, I have had so many husbands come up to me and say, thank you for making my wife feel welcome. I can't believe how happy I am now that we can do this together. And then they bring their kids, and then they bring their families, and then they bring the grandparents. And all of a sudden, that's what our job is, James. Our job is to grow the game, but it's not just, it's one little snippet at a time, but you bring one, and then the two, and then the three, and then the five, they all start to join, right? And that's what it's about. Because now all of a sudden it turns into a family sport, because the wives are involved. You know, it grows, and it's infectious. And that's what, you know, is that what our job is? I guess. I mean, but I also think that's just being a good person. Right?
100%. I mean, I am on my list this summer. My wife and I go to Predator Ridge. We've got a place there, and I'm desperately trying to get her, you know, hooked into a class with Kyla, right? With Kyla Nava. She's unbelievable. Whenever I'm hitting balls on the range and I'm watching her and the way she engages with her clients, and of all kinds, of all shapes, of all sizes, of all genders, right? She's got an unbelievable brand, an unbelievable skill in connecting with people. And I know that, like, if I try it, it'll last 20 minutes before, you know, a club gets tossed. And it could be me tossing or her tossing. I'm not sure who would actually do the tossing, Tiffany, but one of us would throw a club. I'm kidding. But if I can get her engaged in a kind of class, that's what's going to happen. So let's talk about the obvious for you, probably. But once again, if you're a young person, you know, I always like to talk to people about the importance of their brand. There's nothing that you can have more influence on than your brand. And you have an opportunity in your career to pick a lane, right? To pick a lane, right? I've picked the, you know, people training lane, whatever, right? Based on what I love to do, based on my background, based on my success, whatever. No one's going to get me to give a presentation on how to use Excel or how to analyze financial charts. It's not going to happen unless Scott builds it for me and I BS my way through it for 40
Exactly.
But what do you think are some of the skills that females can bring to those roles in leadership, as a manager, that are either something that females should really embrace and promote, and make sure that they realize that, look, here's some skills that we bring because of once again, just who we are as people that are valuable to an organization.
Yeah, I mean, I think that, and it's interesting, and you sent me a couple questions before we did this today, and I think that females bring a level of compassion. They bring and that's just nature. Like, that's just who we are, right? Women tend to be more compassionate. They tend to be more, and I'm not saying that men aren't, and I'd hate to get into that, because I realistically, when I walk into a room, I've been welcomed by, I don't even feel a difference. I don't. And I never have. I've been very lucky that way, but I know it's there. But women are more compassionate. Women tend to bring a very good level of organization, because you know what? A lot of women that are getting into this industry now is second career, right? You know, you look at our Right Fit program and what we're doing with the PGA of Canada. A lot of the women that are getting in is second career. So they've raised their family, right? Their kids are, I don't know, teenagers or whatever. They don't have to look after them anymore. Since COVID, people have got into homeschooling, right? So there's all that different. So we're getting a diverse group of females that are coming into our industry now that have already run houses, run businesses, run households, right?
Yes.
So they're very organized. They're very thorough. They're very passionate. They're very committed to people. They're very kind. And what I'm finding now is their whole passion with the game has turned in passion for teaching, right? So now we're starting to see a lot more females in the teaching professional category, which is so good, because that's where we embrace those 250 women that are on a wait list, right? That we bring them in and we teach them how to play. We encourage them to play golf. We bring them in, and then all of a sudden they want to be a member at a golf club, and now they're supporting their husbands that want to be a member at a golf course, and now they're bringing their kids to be a member of that golf course. So I really feel that that it's that, and it's not all second career. I mean, there's a lot of women that are getting into the industry right now that are 20, 21, 22 years old. But they're go-getters, and if they're good players, then they're good teachers, and they're just, and it was one of those, I'll never forget in my early years. And I'm dating myself, of course, because I'm close to 40 years in the business now, but I can always remember head professionals that I worked with in the past saying, you know what, we need a female in the shop. We need a female in the shop. Well, you need the right female in the shop, right? So, and I look at now, some of my best friends are teaching pros, women, teaching pros, head professionals, directors of golf, general managers, CEOs of huge corporate businesses. And we're valued for our thoughts and our mind and our ability to be diverse, and to create an atmosphere that is welcoming, encouraging, and puts people top of mind. I think that it's not that men, again, I don't like to get into that, because I'm very, I value anyone who's a golf professional. I think that if you've got it in you to do this in your career and in your life, kudos to you, because it's not an easy grind. But it's just a very, very, it's just a welcoming industry, and it's very encouraging. I mean, you look at, I'm 56 years old, and I can't wait to go to work every day. Right? Like, I can't see, like somebody said to me the other day, they said, when are you going to retire? I'm like, what? Then what am I going to do?
Yeah.
Cut the grass? I'll lose my mind. So, but I do think that there is that little bit of a nugget. And I think that there's, and I just see, like, I say 8%, but it's growing all the time. And I just think that they need to feel a little bit more, welcomed into the whole industry. And it's a trend. It's coming.
Did you know there's an easier way to manage risk at your golf facility? eGolf Waiver makes collecting signed waivers quick and hassle-free. Digitally gather signatures from your members and guests, whether they're checking in at the golf shop or at the bag drop. Keep your club safe from legal exposure, frivolous claims, and rising insurance premiums. Plus, our Lightspeed POS integration will enhance your workflow even further. Visit egolfwaiver.com today and safeguard your club's future.
Well, embrace diversity or die. That's just the reality. All these things it's like embrace technology or die. It's the same thing. If you want to put your head in the sand, you're going to be passed by. So in that vein, though, there are still clubs and organizations, but let's just talk about clubs, businesses in the golf business, right? That have not shown themselves to embrace diversity. What do you think the industry can do, or what advice would you have, or what would you tell a golf club GM or a board president that is not doing all they can to kind of take advantage of the skills and the variety of people that are out there? Is there anything that you think, like, I mean, it's a difficult run. Like I always say, like, if you don't market your Easter brunch in another language than English, well, guess what? Like, you just reduced your market by 45% because, we live in an incredibly diverse country. If you don't sell your membership packages or your lesson packages in a variety of different means, then you're going to have simply a reduction of access. If you don't have a female golf professional on your staff, there are going to be female golfers that are not comfortable taking a lesson with a male. That's just like, you can pretend all you want. That's not true. It's true. And it's proven, like, over and over and over again. So, I do find it interesting that enough clubs don't have a strategy to ensure that they have people and methods and programs and communication and marketing that provides more opportunity for them to grow their business, to be successful, right?
Yeah.
Do you have any thoughts, Tiffany, on, like, again, let's make it positive. The organizations and clubs that you think are at the leading edge of embracing diversity, what do you see them doing?
Yeah, I mean, and you nailed it right there, James. I think that the biggest thing is that you need a female involved in your operation at some point. Because women will gravitate to women. Okay. It's life, right? If I walk through the shop, and I mean, our female membership at Carmody has grown, because they feel welcomed. They feel they have access. They feel like somebody cares, right? And that's just what needs to happen. What the most positive thing is about this industry is there are so many opportunities for women to be in this industry because there's a void. There is a void in many, many shops, organizations. I don't care whether it's, it's in the shop or whether it's in food and beverage or whether it's director of instruction or whatever you're doing. There is a space for females in this industry everywhere. And the industry is just begging for more of us to be involved. With that said, because there's a power that women support women. That's just, it doesn't matter. I do speaking engagements. I do women's programs. I do all of that, but women will support women. And it's nature, right? It's just the way it is. And if you make it, available to them, you make it fun, you make it, accessible, less intimidation, right? Like the game just doesn't like who cares if we had our women's opening the other night. I said, I don't care if you count, just come play golf. Go play golf, right? Like I don't tee it up. I really don't care. Come out, play, have fun, and then come in and have dinner after. And I mean, we do so many programs at the club now, James, at an exclusive private golf course that are just fun. Like we don't care, right? But they come out and they want to be there and they want to be a part, and they're part of the atmosphere and they're part of the ambiance of the golf club. And what that does is and then all of a sudden everyone just starts to feel a little bit more comfortable, and they start to come to the club and they start to just enjoy and embrace the opportunity versus, oh my God, this rule and this rule and this rule and this rule. Well, you know what? Rules are for certain things. There's always going to be that competitive side. I mean, I just came back from the Chevron. I mean, I know there's competition and there's rules and there's all of that, but there's also just wanting to have fun and enjoy the game, and I think we've all started to relax a little bit and embrace that a little bit more. And I think that, and I know, I shouldn't say I know that on the female side of things, the more that we do that, the game it's just going to grow. And all of a sudden now women are coming out and they're just enjoying what's supposed to be just a fantastic sport.
Yeah.
And it's a sport where, you get to meet so many people and they get to make so many good friends. And it's the social side of it. Like, to be honest with you, we had, say, 60 ladies out the other night. 40 of them were just there for social. They could hardly wait to just go, when's our next clinic, Tiff? When's tips and sips? When are we doing this? That's all they care about. And that's what we want. There's a percentage that play competitive golf, but at the end of the day, James, I mean, to be quite frank, it's just go play, hit it, chase it, find it, hit it again, like enjoy it, right? It's fun.
Love it. I'm going to finish off with my toughest question for you, Tiffany. So, I'm normally a glass half full kind of person. I really am. But I have this thing that I say sometimes, that is that if you were broken before COVID and you haven't improved your experience, improved your marketing, improved your sales, improved your capital investment, improved the quality of your products, you're still broken. Yes. And that the 21% growth that you've experienced post-COVID has not been caused at all by anything that the industry has done. In fact, since that time, the industry has talked about rolling back the golf ball and created a competitor to the PGA Tour and taken some of the best players away and gone and played somewhere else, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Mm-hmm. So there's a negative way to look at that and talk about, only the golf industry can screw up the best thing that's ever happened to it in the last 30 years. But what is your view on the game, the future of the game? I know you have a PGA of Canada vice president hat on, and that's one perspective. But for Tiffany Gordon's perspective, are we getting better? Or do you see? I mean, I see people getting better. I think operators are getting better, but I also see a lot of people that don't think it's worth spending $100 a month to train their staff, or they don't think that it's worth to invest in a technology that's going to blah, 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 because that's the way we do things around here. I find there's more of that than there is how can we be better every day kind of mentality. So what's your perspective on, do you think that we're still going to be maintaining this kind of growth, this kind of, the studies will say it's females and intermediate males that have come to the game that has driven up the increased rounds of golf.
Yes.
That's what the stats would say. What are your thoughts on that?
So the stats don't lie, and you and I, we read the same reports all the time, right? I really believe that in this industry, here's where I'm at. And I'm going to take my PGA hat off, and I'm just going to be Tiffany Gordon, a golf professional. I'm proud to be a golf professional. Don't see myself doing anything else other than this. I think that each golf professional in this country is your own brand. You have to be your brand. You have to support your brand. You have to educate yourself. You have to continually educate yourself. You have to, in my opinion, stay ahead of the next guy, be a leader, enjoy the ride. I do believe that we are looked upon in many, many facets of life as a go-to. I swear to God that sometimes when I teach lessons, I am a counselor, not a golf professional. I am looked at to be a friend, a mentor, an ambassador, walk the walk, talk the talk. We are very lucky in this profession because we have an opportunity to be a lot of things to a lot of people. We are in the people business. Respect them, I think that, to your point, like the stats that come out of it, 100%, those numbers don't lie. Is it growing? Yes. But we have to grow it by working with people and being involved and being face to face. Our lives have become, since COVID, and I hate even talking about it, but again, it is one of those things. Our lives have been very driven by technology and driven by not being face to face. And people don't pick up the phone anymore, James. People don't, we've just lost that touch.
Yeah.
And I personally believe that being in front of people is the best opportunity you can have. We get that. When I go back down to that club today, I'm be in front of 200, 300 people today. What an opportunity that is. Pick up the phone, talk to people, have a coffee with somebody, get in front of people, because that's how we're going to continue to grow this. You can send emails all day long. People don't even pay attention to them or whatever. And you and I both know that. I mean, that's a world that we live in. It's a corporate world. But at the end of the day, I think that the most important part about this industry and about being true to the industry and being a fantastic golf professional is just being in front of people. Make them better. Teach kids, teach women, teach men, help them out, walk the range, say hi, do whatever. I mean, people just want to be cared for. Right? Right. It is no different than if I see you at a function. I mean, you and I just have a chat, right? Whereas people get so caught up in zing, zing, zing with emails and texts and all of that, where at the end of the day, we just need to be caring and kind. And if we do that, we're going to promote the game more just by it comes off of you like osmosis, right? Because if you're in it and you're engaged and you're having fun, you know what? It resonates with everyone else.
100%. Tiffany, just some wonderful, wonderful advice and nuggets. And just as I said, very proud of you and all the things that you've accomplished in your career and are still accomplishing. You are a very young 56, that you said you actually put on tape your age. So no one would guess that. And, vice president of the PGA of Canada and future president of PGA of Canada, you inspire lots of members, not just females. So thank you for all that you do. Wonderful to have you on the Gig podcast. For anyone that wants to reach out to you, Tiffany, and kind of pick your brain or get some insight from you, what's the best way for them to contact you?
You can get me through my PGA of Canada email, which is tiffany@pgaofcanada.com. Please do reach out, because I'm always online, and I'm willing to help and look forward to just, keep growing the game. It's what we should be doing.
Love it. Well, you certainly are doing that. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for joining this episode of the Golf Industry Guru podcast. As always, some information to help you to listen to and to apply that to your own journey. So thanks for listening. Join us again. And as always, we will see you on the inside.
Thanks for listening to the Gig Podcast. We hope you enjoyed this episode, and mostly that you learned a few things that will help you improve your business. Join us next time as we continue to bring you the best and brightest golf and hospitality leaders on the planet. Thanks for listening.